Maybe you've noticed it before, maybe not. But friendships of three, trios, have a strange way of forming, shifting, and sometimes quietly collapsing. At first, everything seems perfect. The three of you laugh at the same jokes, share stories no one else would get, and spend hours together, feeling like you've built your own little world. There's a sense of completeness, like your social life is balanced, like nothing could go wrong. And then, almost imperceptibly, things start to shift. Two of you start bonding more tightly, maybe because of shared hobbies, shared work experiences, or just timing. And the third? They start to feel left out. The jokes feel slightly exclusive. The plans seem to happen without them. And though they may try to stay involved, a subtle anxiety starts to creep in. Am I less important? Did I do something wrong? This is the hidden psychology of trios. Triads are structurally unstable in human relationships. Psychologists often point to something called social balance theory, which explains why relationships between three people tend to favor pairs over a trio dynamic. Humans naturally form alliances. We are wired to seek balance and reciprocation. With two people, that's straightforward. I give to you, you give to me. With four, social energy can flow flexibly. But with three, someone is always at risk of being left out. That tension can manifest as small exclusions, emotional drift, or even passive-aggressive behaviors, often without anyone consciously noticing. Being the third in a friendship is challenging. You might start to internalize the imbalance. Thoughts like, maybe I'm too much, or maybe I don't fit here, can dominate. You may overcompensate, trying harder to be included, to make plans, or to smooth over tension. Psychologists call this a self-regulatory coping behavior, trying to repair a social bond to reduce anxiety. But this emotional labor is draining. Over time, it can create resentment or withdrawal, even in the most loyal friends. From the perspective of the pair, the dynamic is different. They may simply click. Perhaps they share a personality trait, a sense of humor, or a life experience that the third doesn't. They don't intend to exclude anyone, yet their bond strengthens naturally. Psychologically, this is a process of triadic closure, where two members of a trio form a stronger connection while the third sits on the periphery. This isn't malicious, it's evolutionary. Humans instinctively pair off. But the social consequences are real and often painful for the outsider. Jealousy is another factor. Not the kind you read about in novels, but a subtle, creeping comparison. When one member of the pair experiences success, a new job, a romantic relationship, or a life milestone, the third can feel sidelined. Even without overt exclusion, this can produce anxiety, passive resentment, or attempts to reassert presence. Psychologists note that emotional attention is finite. In small social groups, scarcity of attention creates tension. The more two friends lean on each other for support, the less energy remains for the third, fostering unintentional competition. Then there's the peacekeeper. Many trios have one person who takes responsibility for maintaining harmony. This role involves smoothing over conflicts, planning activities, and mediating subtle slights. While noble, this constant vigilance can lead to emotional burnout. The peacekeeper invests heavily in the social cohesion of the trio, often at the expense of their own emotional well-being. If they stop, the system can collapse suddenly. The friendship may not end with drama, but with quiet dissolution. Plans become less frequent, shared jokes feel stale, and emotional distance grows. Let's explore the perspectives through small scenarios. Imagine a trio of friends, Alex, Brooke, and Casey. Alex and Brooke find themselves sharing more interests and hobbies. They start planning weekends together. Casey notices this and feels a quiet sting of exclusion. Casey tries to make themselves more present, sending extra messages, initiating activities, and making jokes to insert themselves into the dynamic. Alex and Brooke, unaware of the tension, continue bonding, while Casey's efforts often go unnoticed. Over time, Casey experiences anxiety and frustration, while Alex and Brooke remain oblivious. This is a textbook example of the imbalance that forms naturally in triads. Now imagine a second scenario where the trio is intentional. Alex notices Casey's discomfort and initiates a check-in. Hey, I feel like we haven't done something all together lately. Want to plan a trio night? Casey expresses feelings honestly. Brooke listens. They decide to rotate planning responsibilities, ensure everyone gets equal input, and openly discuss how often pair time is okay. In this version, the psychological patterns of exclusion are mitigated by direct communication and intentional social structuring. This is the antidote to natural triadic instability. Attachment styles also play a role in trio dynamics. Those with an anxious attachment style may feel heightened fear of exclusion and overcompensate to maintain closeness. Those with avoidant tendencies may withdraw when the trio experiences tension, which can intensify imbalance. Understanding your attachment tendencies provides insight into why you react the way you do within a trio, and how to manage your own responses without creating guilt or blame. Trios are also complicated by life events. When major stressors occur, moving cities, changing jobs, or entering romantic relationships, emotional energy is unevenly distributed. Pairings naturally intensify, leaving the third feeling disconnected. Cognitive load and emotional fatigue exacerbate feelings of jealousy or inadequacy. Research in social psychology shows that in small groups, emotional contagion occurs. If two people are deeply involved, their shared emotional state can inadvertently exclude the third. So what strategies can help maintain balance in a trio? First, normalize dyads. Accept that two friends may be closer at times, and plan exclusive pair time intentionally so no one feels surprised. Second, rotate responsibilities and planning. Let each person organize hangouts, choose activities, and check in with others. Third, practice clear communication. Use statements like, "I felt left out when I saw your plan, can we plan something together?" Or, "I value our trio nights and want to make time for all three of us." Fourth, set boundaries for emotional labor. The peacekeeper must recognize when to step back to avoid burnout. Finally, consider periodic meta-conversations. Asking, "How is our trio doing?" ensures awareness of everyone's feelings. It's also important to recognize when it may be healthier to step back. Trios can provide rich connections, but if patterns of exclusion or imbalance persist, protecting your emotional well-being may require scaling back involvement. Walking away doesn't indicate failure. It is a conscious choice for personal growth and mental health. Let's return to the human element. The outsider in a trio often experiences subtle identity shifts. They may begin questioning their role in friendships more broadly, experiencing vulnerability, and reassessing social needs. This is a psychological reality. Small social exclusions shape self-perception, self-esteem, and interpersonal confidence. But by addressing the imbalance with reflection and communication, or by choosing different social arrangements, healing is possible. Friendships evolve, and sometimes letting go makes room for healthier, more reciprocal connections. Trios are unique laboratories of human social psychology. They reveal alliance formation, attachment styles, scarcity of emotional attention, and the consequences of social neglect. They illustrate the tension between individual needs and collective harmony, showing how subtle emotional patterns shape relationships over time. But they also show the power of intention. Through awareness, communication, and equitable effort, triads can thrive. When these psychological principles are applied thoughtfully, a trio can move from fragile to resilient. Ultimately, whether you are the third, the pair, or the peacekeeper, awareness is key. Observe patterns of closeness, communicate feelings, rotate responsibilities, and recognize emotional strain. If the friendship begins to erode despite these efforts, it's okay to step back. Self-care is not selfish, it's essential. Trios teach us about human bonding, social structure, and the complexity of emotional investment. And by understanding the psychology behind these dynamics, we can navigate them more consciously, preserving meaningful connections without sacrificing our well-being. Friendships are a reflection of who we are and how we relate. Trios, in particular, highlight our natural tendencies to bond, exclude, and care. They are challenging, yes, but they also offer opportunities to learn about communication, empathy, and the delicate balance of human relationships. By understanding the science behind the structure, we can approach our friendships with clarity, intention, and compassion. No one should feel invisible in their social circle. Trios reveal the invisible currents of connection, the subtle pulls of closeness, and the quiet weight of exclusion. By naming these patterns, reflecting on them, and communicating openly, we give our friendships the best chance to survive and thrive. And when they don't, we carry the lessons forward, about ourselves, about others, and about the delicate, fascinating psychology of human connection.